But when you choose to act out vilely in a sense like that, or you lash out at people because you don't want to, do the right thing, or love unconditionally, that's where I start to kind of have a problem, because my heart belongs to the people in a sense like that. I care about the people. I love the people. And that was what this was about, is ultimately building into. I had started with clarity, which was kind of like my denouncement on this, like, I don't think it's right, my opinion, to blend black and white people and try to save America that way. And then I went into we should, that was the next thing, the black and white, the Obama, Biden, the perception of a black and white America. And then I wanted to spend a couple of minutes on, a clear America, and how I ultimately look around us and I see in so many cultures. When I went to Chicago, one of the greatest things that I loved is that everywhere I went, no matter where I went, I would see someone from a different country, a different nationality. It was so diverse, it was so multicultural that I was just like, wow. I felt like I was in heaven, in a lot of ways. It was like, man, I'm running into and a lot of them are tourists, but at the same time, there's a ton of people from tons of different places. You have Polish people, you have Ukrainians, you have Hispanic people, you have Chinatown with, you have African Americans, obviously, you have white people, you have Indians, you have all kinds of people that live in Chicago. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I was literally in like just dreaming, when I was in Chicago. And I was having more so visions. I don't define them as dreams, but so when I look at like a future America, like if it was my responsibility to realistically continue to try to carve out a river or a pathway for America, as much as I want to admonish black people and white people to be like, why can't you guys just get along and be friends, and stop trying to kill each other? I know that there's roots that go back 40, 50, 100 years, but I believe in healing, you know what I mean? And so when I look at the younger generation of white people and the younger generation of brown people, African Americans, I'm like, yeah, man, we at this point, we should be able to work through those things, and we should be being breathed, people should be breathing into us, realistically, this desire to tear down these old kind of like, I can't really see, these old walls and barriers between the races, so that we can realistically live in peace among each other. And so when I look at like a clear America, we got our work cut out for us, you know what I mean? It's the future of America is interesting, I see a path like a lot of other people see paths, right? And I see an idea and I see a thought, but at the same time, it's really kind of like, how are we going to get there, and what's it going to take? And, that's what I wanted to touch base on a little bit today, was my theory and my thought of a clear America, and how over the last 20 years of being on campus and being in America, living here, I was born here, but watching all of this change take place in America, we see Indians and we see Africans and we see Middle Eastern people, and we see all of these many people coming into America, which is a first time in our culture. The most immigration we have seen in the last 100 years has generally been from Europe. Other white people running our country, recruiting more white people into the country. That had been the pattern, and then it switched in the last 30, 40 years or so. It switched. Now we have Hispanic people that have been pouring into our borders, not pouring, like not in a bad way, but had been welcomed into our country to some extent. And then we have Asian people, and we have Indians, and we have Africans, and we have all of these people, all of the crayons, right? And so we have all of these crayons inside of this crayon box, right, which is America, and we're trying to figure out how to get along, right? But the box, that the crayons was built, that has been built, is not really designed to help us fit together. And so we have to either kind of patch the box up and fix it, or we need to jump out of that box, right, and build a brand new box that holds all of us in a very equal and balanced and good kind of way. And so my idea of clarity and clearly, so see clearly in America, right, our future, is to realistically look at our country and to really kind of shed the idea that you see a white man when you look at me, right? And instead try to see a little bit deeper. And they define this as like emotional intelligence. I define it as like discernment, which is in the scripture. I also think it's emotional intelligence. And at the same time, it's really kind of one of those things to where it's like we need to be able to look deeper than just our skin. We need to be able to look at a person's, like I said this in another video, the contents of a person's character, to not just judge them at face value. We've been saying this forever, right? You know what I mean? This isn't something new. It's not like I woke up in the morning and been like, man, we need to